Hi, my name is Steven, and I make fonts as AeroType. Thanks for joining today. I will be continuing some work on numerals and small caps for my family Lang, which I will be releasing an update for in the coming week, really. So I'm kind of taking a lot of work that I've been refining these, generating these, refining these, spacing them, kerning them, and setting up the build, making sure that the open type features work, testing them. Uh, in this video, I will be updating the italic small cap numerals to match some upgrades to the Roman or upright small cap numerals. And then I might be adding anchors to the small caps themselves, the letters, and trying to generate some diacritics, so accented characters. We'll see how far I get. But yeah, basically, to explain what I'm doing a little further, I drew the small cap figures as mostly uh, tabular here. You can see. So, for instance, I kind of looked between the two styles and saw that the 0, I think, was about 520 in the black style here. And then I set it to 520 in the thin style. And I set all of these to reference the 0.sc for their width. And then I made them a little wider to fit that width. And that's a nice thing because some of these were, especially like the 2 and 3, feeling kind of too narrow. And then I made small cap tabular numerals. The problem with numerals is that like you just have to make so many because you've got all the combinations. Um, you don't like if you make old style numerals, you probably want old style tabular numerals. You definitely need tabular numerals. And so the same thing sort of, I think, applies to small caps and small cap tabular. But yeah, if you keep them mostly tabular to begin with, uh, it ends up being not too bad. You just kind of end up making a tabular number 1, and the rest mostly work out with components. Of course, that varies, but right. So in our italic, I haven't yet kind of increased the width of all of these. I'm kind of looking at it still. So like, let's see. Um, One thing in glyphs that can be slightly annoying is that it's not always super easy to space different sources in relation to one another. I don't. I don't. There's probably different ways to approach that. Um, if you know of ways to approach that, let me know in the comments. Um, but yeah, basically my approach is to have a big split screen or a big screen with a split screen view. Um, yeah, nothing super fancy, but that basically works. So yeah, I'll just kind of get right to it. I'm basically trying to mirror the updates I made in the Roman. Um, it doesn't have to be the exact same design or anything, but might as well make it pretty close so that people get what they expect when they go from Roman to italic, or if they set them together, especially. And yeah, so that's, oops, if you ever just hit the wrong-ish button. So we want Command F and then 0.sc and then 1.sc just to bring it back. Okay. Yeah, this 2 looks pretty okay overall. We want this to be 56, so let's do that. I'm doing the scaling edit with Control Option and arrows. I was showing the like key logger kind of thing for a bit in some of my previous videos, but that stopped working with the app ScreenFlow, which I use to record these. Once I upgraded to the new Mac OS, I don't know. I could probably figure that out, but I haven't yet. It's not a super priority, really, but yeah, that sort of thing can be nice. It would be a bigger priority for me, honestly, if, oh God, ScreenFlow had a little more control over like how those when keys showed up, if that makes any sense. They give very little control over it. Okay, 58, cool. All right, 47, that's about right already, I guess. 59, this needs to be wider. But let me know if you really miss having some kind of key stroke indication there, and I can try to figure that out again. I forget if I kind of thought, yeah, I was making these guys vertical to various extents to control this bit a little better. I might almost see if, oh yeah, it's basically the same thing. So I'll just Option delete that so I can kind of dock it back together. And then I already have the shape I refined for the 3. All right, we want this to be 58 on that side and 58 on this side. And I'm just kind of visually checking. Yeah, these are all still 520, so that's good news. Yeah, one interesting detail of this family Lang that I'm still slightly making up my mind on, I guess, is how to treat some of these ball terminals. So, for instance, oh God, well, in the normal 2 and lots of letters like that, oops, that was not what I wanted. In the normal 2 and letters like that, I have this ball terminal thing going. But for the lowercase, I kind of, oops, caps to small caps is on. I guess it's true there as well, but especially here, where I've got lots of room for a ball terminal in the thin and especially the thick. Whereas in the lowercase, I don't have much room. So here I'm just kind of like going completely straight, and that kind of echoes some of these like counters. So I think this is nice, but this starts to look strange when I have enough room to really like do something more like a ball terminal. Still kind of resolving the precise drawing of these. Yeah, that's the sort of thing you could fuss with infinitely. But I guess that's part of the joy of making type anyway. Infinite fussing with things. Whereas my mind. Basically, yeah, so I kind of think it's okay because I'm fairly consistent with straightening these ball terminals in the lowercase and making them more teardrop style in the lining figures. But then in the small caps, I haven't necessarily made up my mind perfectly about how I want them to be treated. So I'm doing a bit of both. Where I have space, I give a ball terminal. Where I don't really have space, I'm doing a straight terminal. And yeah, right. That's the thing. Still making up my mind on what makes sense. Okay. I guess I should say, if you have thoughts on what you prefer, let me know in the comments. I'm just always fishing for comments, honestly. Got to get that sweet, sweet algorithmic engagement going, but also I like to hear from people. Otherwise, I feel like I'm shouting into a void sometimes, which I guess, to be honest, I probably kind of am, which is okay. I chose this life. Oops. All right, 56, 56. I got a mouse pad recently, so I'm hoping that my mouse movement is slightly less clickety clackety than in previous videos. I don't know. Hard to say. Audio's weird. Oops. It's like probably doesn't matter that much, and yet it totally matters, and takes a million little things to make for good audio. So I don't know. That's 1,000,001 little things. Let's bring this up a bit. Let's see. 23, 29, apparently. Oh, yeah, this has to get a lot wider. Let's grab here. I talk about my audio and then I just don't talk for a bit. But yeah. This feels a little off center, maybe. 24, 25. Oh yeah, I should straighten this out. If you hold Shift Option and then click on a line when you have the pen tool, it automatically inserts the point at the extrema, which is great because you need points at extrema for proper rendering, and they're also just usually the easiest thing to control. So that's kind of nice. A nice little feature. I noticed that this felt blunter than this, so I wanted to kind of correct that. When I say you need points at extrema, it depends kind of. You especially need points at vertical extrema, so like here and here. And then on the horizontal extrema, traditionally they're good to have, but also in italics, I've heard that they don't really make that much of a difference for a lot of modern hinting or screen rendering. And it's kind of a bigger difference in how you end up drawing and producing the italic styles. In name sans, I ended up 27. I ended up doing mostly vertical side extrema or like horizontal extrema. It's kind of confusing. I put, and actually, if we look at the 0 TO num, I think I did that here too. I did. It's easier to get like a circular shape, I find, with that sort of horizontal vertical extrema. But for instance, this shape doesn't get helped by having extrema. It just adds too many points. Or like a classic thing is the n, the lowercase n. It kind of gets in the way of drawing them. So basically I do it when it's helpful and I avoid it when it's not helpful. That's my general philosophy these days, at least. 27. Okay, it needs to be wider. And 1820. And then we're almost ready to move on with this bit, which is cool. These look pretty decent. And because these are all components here, they, having adjusted these, already adjust these, which is pretty nice. Honestly, this feels like it could bump over a little further. Because there's just so much space. Let's see. Okay, so then we have one small cap tabular. And let's see, I narrowed up the stem slightly at one point. Okay, so I think I already updated this one. 36, 36. Yeah, pretty much. Cool. So that is that section done. Nice. And now we can move on to the small cap, more small cap edits. All right. Yeah, well, let me make this a little bigger. There might be a couple of things here I can make a little bit better. Honestly, as I was mentioning this decision between the like sort of teardrop versus vertical terminals a moment ago, well, a few minutes ago, because these terminals kind of end up curling back in the italics anyway, I think I prefer the 5 here, for instance, to the 5 here, which, wait, well, sorry. In the italic, I like that I've added this, and then I don't think that necessarily means it has to be added here. They can be different. They're italic and Roman. So The exact specific shaping, I feel like still, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Still want to fuss with it a bit, but it's like pretty good. Anyway, I like the general principle here. So I'm going to do it here. So let's see. Shift Option, click. Oops, that's not what I wanted. And then glyphs is really good at kind of, for the most part, finding the curve that you want when you reset points. These curves are really hard because they're a little bit untraditional. That is to say, compound curves are something most people avoid in cubic drawing, like cubic Bezier drawing like this, because they're a little hard to control. And in the past, I think conversion to TTF went pretty bad when you did that. But conversion to TTF is now really good. Thanks, I believe, to Bedad Esobot, probably. So it might be also others. I'm sure. I'm sure it's a whole, squadron of people. But Bedad has done a lot of that sort of thing, improving rendering of fonts, layout of fonts, all sorts of stuff like that. Conversion to TTF. People like Cosimo Lupo probably had things to do with it too, if I had to guess. Yeah, that feels pretty fitting in the italic. So for now, I think we'll roll with it. Let me show all instances to see what the middle point looks like. I like to kind of pull this way up to see that there's no kinks. In the middle interpolations. And I'm going to start the 9 by simply, I guess I should make a little backup here. I'm also going to put in the background, Command B. Oops. That is not what I wanted. I guess I grabbed the wrong thing from my paste app. Okay. Cool. Let's also do that here. Oh, I forgot to do that again. I've really got to make or find a script that puts the foreground into the background. It's like the sort of thing that I do many times, so it's perfect for a script. I know there are scripts that do it. Okay. Yeah. But I just haven't done it yet. I don't know. Silly. I guess it's easy enough that I haven't felt the need to, but yeah, I should definitely do it. If you know of such a script, let me know. If you don't know of it offhand, just know that it exists. And I will try to report it in, well, I'll probably end up using it in a future video, so I'll share it when I do. All right. Cool. These are pretty well done. So let me pull up my iTerm here. For some reason, I haven't changed the font from the default yet. Why don't I do that now? Profiles, text. Yeah, so that's Monaco, but we want name mono, of course. And I'm also going to bump it up a bit. Okay. just to make it comfy for me to read. All right. Get status. Oh, this is the wrong one. All right. CD type repos lang. Cool. Get status. Nice. Okay. Get add all, please. Get commit. Often I do these commits in VS Code, but sometimes iTerm is nice. This is what this overlay terminal is called, iTerm2. So refine spacing and shaping in italics, small cap figures. Oops. Cool. Git push. Great. Okay, so now we've kind of done this, marked a checkpoint, and it will be a good time to move on to these. So let's make spacing tab. All right. So here's our spacing tab. And right, so the main thing I want to do actually is add the anchors that each glyph deserves. I think what I'll do, just to be quick about it, just to test it out, is I'll just hit Command U with all of these highlighted, and that should theoretically add all of the kind of glyphs recommended anchors. And then these two have support layers, so I'll sort of have to do that separately here. I don't know if it works from this view to edit a support layer. Cool. Not too bad. I guess the top didn't go to the top quite, but that's all right. I don't really know, to be honest, what the center anchor is for, but probably center bar and things like that. I'm just basically making these optically centered. Same thing again. I don't know what that top left anchor is for necessarily, but guessing it's useful. I guess I'm slightly tempted to write a script that would move the top anchor to the cap height line, or the small cap height line, but I don't know if that'd be fast. It's one of those things where it might take me a little longer to write the script than the time I would save. from writing it. I mean, that's always the challenge with scripting for fonts. I don't know, this is just so easy that I'll probably just sit here and think about it, but not do it. All right. Wow. I hope not too many people put a Sadia with the M. I haven't seen it, but if you do, let me know. All right. I just have a shortcut set up to apply a center guideline. That's pretty useful sometimes. Like for things like O and Q, where you actually want the top anchor to be exactly in the center, often at least. Whereas it's not as useful for many of these other letters where you're kind of aiming for the optical center a lot more than the literal center. Oh boy. This is reminding me that, of course, I have Vietnamese support in this typeface, and I have to add that into the small caps as well. That shouldn't be a surprise to me, but somehow, I don't know. As you're making small caps, it's really easy for things to, I don't know. I guess especially because I don't make a lot of small caps, or I've made them before, but not on many of my recent projects in the last few years. So it's kind of like a lot of it is new for me again, a little bit. Oops, that's not what I wanted. This might be a good time to have a centered guide again. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Not that it's a bad thing. But yeah, I guess it's just that there's more to do than perhaps I was, I don't know, mentally preparing or expecting. I'm just moving a lot of these into a general placement just as a guess, and then I'm guessing that once I add the diacritics, I'll want to shuffle them around a little bit, and I'll kind of have a clearer view of what really needs to be changed. I think that should go here, maybe. I don't actually think this guideline is useful in this case. I wonder if this top left thing should be like in the glyph as well. Probably. When you have a bottom anchor on something offset like a P or like a lowercase h, it's useful to put it over the stem itself, not just the actual center of the glyph space. Sort of similar to a lot of these things. So like a good example is, well, especially the Roman A, but this is seldom the actual center of the glyph. It's much more, you kind of want it to look like it's the center. You know, I have a script to mark the center of small caps, so maybe I'll start using that. Guidelines. Aha. Nice, got a good crosshairs. What is this? I mean, I would think it would be the horn. Yeah, I think it is the horn. I'm confused why glyphs would preview that in the top center, but maybe some people or programs use a top anchor for it. I don't know. We're so close. Oh, didn't want that. Oh, don't want that. Cool. Okay, so now let's see. When I add something like just Command Shift G, acute.sc, I think it will be pretty automatic. Nice. What I have to do next is basically look at all of my, well, maybe next I'll place the anchors in the Roman, and then I'll come back and generate glyphs. It's not super useful to look at that in italic because there's a ton of swash glyphs as well. So this is a cleaner view. Basically, I'll generate all of these that aren't the, super basic Latin characters, and then I'll go and fix the things that need a little more work, like O horn, U horn, Vietnamese stuff, etc. So, yeah, to be continued. I'm going to pause and have a snack. Okay, so let's get back to it. I am trying to set the small caps up with diacritics. Let me see. Like, I'm trying to think of what the sensible way to do this is. Probably, actually, I can just do it like this. Copy all these names, make them, see what I need to fix. Do that for Central European as well, Vietnamese, and yeah, see if anything's left. So let me copy, copy glyph names. One per line, I think is best. Command Shift G. Oops. Right, I need to, You know, I think glyphs has some sort of a way to duplicate with, oh well. I think there is some sort of way to duplicate with a suffix, but I want to make these, so I'm not quite sure. Oh well, that's super fast. I just did a multi-select in glyphs. Okay, that's looking pretty good. There are a few holes here, but this is pretty much what I expect. So of course, I forgot to make like some Danish things, kind of. The German double S. Yeah. In a way, I wish I had scaled this, but probably don't need it. Let's just kind of go and make these things now. Okay, and then let's pull them up. All right. Let's start adding this. Just kind of delete a few points here. Honestly, it's almost there. All right. Let's see. What are we doing? I want this more like up there. So I think I can just Command Shift O with those contours selected. I still want this split to be there for a better variable font rendering. I probably need to make this a little narrower. And this perhaps a little more sloped, I'd say. All right. And then this, oops, I want e.sc. Cool. Yeah, it looks pretty okay. We also need this layer. And we want to hook that up here. What if I do it like this? I'll close that, and then I can easily move the overlap there. And bring this over more. Maybe something like that. Update the metrics. Bish, bash, bosh. That looks okay. I think it looks pretty good, dare I say. All right. Here I'm gonna want the D there, and basically I'm just keeping it simple. All right. Is this the F? Okay. well, I don't even probably need the small cap center. I can just see it optically. Yeah. Cool. I think that's pretty okay. All right. Guess I will use it there. Nice. And I want to kind of have, yeah, that looks pretty much good. Okay. Here I want the OSC, and let's look at how slash looks here. Okay. Gonna have to extend it by a little bit. Yeah, I'm just trying to make it pretty symmetrical. That I think is. Do I have O slash bold or oh, I don't have alternate layers for these yet, which is a little surprising, but I should add those. I'm actually really pretty impressed with how much of this stuff, like how much of these glyphs bracket trick layer things work in like a font make build. So I'll try this one. You know, I should start out here. This is a lot more common. So I forget, is it like, aha. Let's start with that. That's weird that this might need a intermediate layer as well, I guess. Let's look at it for a second, or rather, here. Let's look at it here. Let's show all instances. It's definitely broken by the time it gets, or not entirely, but it's pretty much broken by the time it gets here, but it's kind of decent here. Let's look how that lines up against our exports. So basically, above bold should definitely get an alternate. But maybe even above semi-bold. I don't know. I'll just do above bold. So 171.75. Oh, God. All right, let's do some math. 171 point. Can this move? Okay. 75 plus 193.375. divided by 2. So the middle point is about 182.5. We'll roll with that. I think this is how it works. Let's find out. Alternate 182.15. Mm-hmm. I probably have to go read. Oh, I don't need to reinterpolate. I see. Yeah, I think I'm okay. I have to go read and redo this, perhaps. But let's try it like this. I think it's this simple. So let's add a break there. Okay, so basically I want to remove the middle bar when it's above 182.5, and I want to draw the light version of no middle bar and the black version of no middle bar. 182.5, 215. Yes, please. And let's slice. Okay, that's almost good, except there's no glyph there. What the heck? I think sometimes, no. This having no glyph there probably means that it's not compatible, but why is it not compatible? Oh, I see. So I think it puts the component in the order of contours, which RoboFont doesn't. Why is it still not compatible? Oh, this has an extra point. So does this. Haha. Cool. That is nice to see. So basically, we now have the middle stroke disappearing when it is above a certain weight. And before I go and do this same thing to the uppercase version and the small caps version of the O slash, let's do our build of just our variable fonts. Exit 0 to stop the build in an intermediate spot. Let's add a new suffix for now, so we don't delete the old one. Okay, let's check it out. Well, the italic doesn't have it yet, but whatever. Let's just check it out. That's how you spell cool in Danish, right? Yes. Tight. All right. That works like a charm. Good job, font make. Good job, glyphs. Very nice. I do think I could get a little thicker so it more matches like the sort of serif thickness at that part of the family. It doesn't have to change by much, but yeah, it could beef up just a little bit. So let's do that. So here, let's send these guys just kind of 10 units over. why is this not black? Cool. And what I draw here doesn't actually really matter for the black so much as for what we see in the bold. So it's kind of useful to remember that. You sort of have to look down here to see the results you're creating. And then we come over here. Oh, you know it's going to be easier just to do this again. Okay. Yeah, that looks balanced, I think. Maybe we'll make it slightly more chunky just because we can. That distance is... Wait, can you really not see a total distance? That's annoying. 136.98. 136.96. And I want to make sure it's properly centered. Which it definitely wasn't. Cool. You know, I think that looks pretty solid. I may come back, not here obviously, but down here. I may come back to enhance it further, but I like it. So yeah, let's do that actually for these others as well. So here we've got the one size fits all solution, but let's enhance. Computer, enhance. All right. Nope. If anyone is watching this and you have preferences that I'm not fulfilling in this character, let me know. I don't use this character really in my everyday life, so I don't have super strong opinions of what it should look like other than that it should be interpolating correctly. Okay, so let's just put this at the same spot because I think it's nice when things change at the same time generally. 182.5, 215. And we also want an alternate there. 182.5, 215. Okay. Let's slice it. And slice it. I feel like this isn't centered as well as it ought to be. Okay, so let's come back and throw this in again, but do it slightly better. Okay. And now let's grab this, making sure we center it again. Okay, that looks pretty okay through there. Slice, slice. Cool. All right, there we have it. And maybe we should make an effort to match the angles up a little more. It's natural for this one to be a little thicker, I'd say. All right, looks good. Okay, so now we just have to do that for the small caps. Oh, slash. We're almost there. All right. All right. Make it an alternate, please. 182.5, 215. Yes. Give me an alt. Okay. Let's copy that one because I like it better. And then raise it up a bit. Make sure it's pretty well centered. It helps to look at the bounding box for this, by the way. Cool. Now, let's replace that. Cool. Cool. Nice. All right. Now we've got, I think all three will work. And yeah, cool. We can move on. It's funny. Those look a little out of place because they were sort of put onto their specific layers. All right. So here we want small caps. This and this. Let's look at what the OE looks like. All right. Basically, I think I did something like this. Move overlap. This should be OSC. This should be ESC. And then these become smooth by hitting enter and moving them over a bit. Oh, and this has to be sharp. Okay. Can't think of a good way to do this. Exactly. So what if I do something like that? And then something like that. All right, pretty decent. Okay. Yeah, solid. All right. I mean, yeah, I can make it a little better. Oh, I guess these feel balanced here, but not really here. I mean, for one, I'm realizing suddenly that this maybe should be more in the vertical center in the small cap since there's so little space. Yeah, let's move it over just a little bit. Okay. Okay. Maybe this is a better way in this source. Just kind of overlapping them by brute force. And then simplifying a lot. Where are these points? Just here. Okay. Something like that. Let's use our shortcut to align those things. It's basically the same as hitting that. It's one of my little scripts. This might be a good case for this thing. Yeah. That looks like a pretty good small caps version, I think. All right, p.sc. Wonder h.sc. Let's grab this guy. Slice there. Pop that. Nice. This needs an alternate as well. We'll make that in a second. might get to hear the cats outside my window. What's the easiest way here? Okay, what I think I'm going to try is that. Nope. Mirror it. Pop it there. Option delete. Bump it there. Okay, so now this is symmetrical. And if we do Command Shift R, it doesn't quite make it work. Now that's interpolating, and we can see it break somewhere along the line. Let's look at what this looks like. In uppercase. Okay. Basically, it's working kind of hard to not break, but that's kind of impossible in the small caps. But again, this is a case where I just have to look at here, and I should probably add the alternate way sooner, essentially. Yeah, I think that's kind of... Well, I'll just really have to hope that people are using RVRN on this one. Does this make any sense? Basically, I like to design the black version just in case for some reason somebody picks it out of like a glyph palette or something weird, or more likely RVRN just isn't supported in a certain app. I want to hopefully still make the thing legible. All right, so let's see. This is breaking around so light. I mean, around regular, I guess. Maybe between light and regular, we should make our alternate appear. So light is 85.25, regular is that. So 85.25 plus 106. Nope. 106.75 divided by 2 is 96. We'll just do it at 96 even. All right. So here we have alternate 96, 215. Alternate 96, 215. I should set this up for the capital one as well, to be honest. All right, so here basically we just want our alternate to not have serifs on the inside. And this could perhaps get a little bigger. I'll do that next. Ah, we're halfway there. Cool. All right. That's 144. What is this? Okay. We can make these bigger. Honestly, wait. Let's bring it down a little. Just want to make sure it's still plenty legible. with enough like counter space. I'm just going to pop this back here. Nice. Yeah, so you can see that it goes up and then it swaps. And this doesn't yet. Oh, wait, actually, it almost does, which is interesting. Okay. Where do we want this one to take place? I don't want it to be too light this time, so maybe I'll go. Let's see, 144. Let's make a guideline, cap height. Right. This one I did keep more legible and similar at the normal black, but I still want the alternate, so but where? Probably above semi-bold, between semi-bold and bold, I think. It's a good spot for it. So that's between 150 and 171. We'll just slap it at 160. Alternate 160, 215. Cool. Oh, and now we have to make sure these are compatible. Including with similar anchors. Oh, and I should probably throw in some metrics there. Okay. All right. I wonder if anybody actually puts accents on this character. I don't know. Would be interesting to find out. Shift R. All right, why is this not compatible yet? Glyphs just isn't sorting that for some reason, which is okay. Cool, now we have our progression. Looks good. All right, and then we're just gonna have to do this for the italic as well. I think perhaps I'm running out of steam again, and I probably will want to take another pause and maybe put it into a video kind of separately. or potentially just, to be honest, I've got a deadline, so I'm probably gonna not film some more of this. I don't know. Here I am just planning out my. See, I just run out of things to say, I think is part of the problem. All right. Let's finish this one, and then yeah, I think I have to take some time to not try to talk about every last thing I'm doing. All right. Let's move you over here for a reference. This might be a really good case. Let's try this RMX thing again. Hmm. Right. I should really buy the normal version, but the holidays, you know, they're expensive. Okay. Should this have a little bit less weight, probably? Let's pop like HSC back here. That will give us a much better reference for what the weight ought to be. Nice. And oh, I probably want to keep the exact weight here. We're very close to it. That's 39. Okay. And then I guess I need to bring it down slightly in this. Cool. All right. Yeah, that's I think a solid small caps German double et set. Uh, double S or et set. Um, yeah, basically, I think this Unicode didn't even really exist until a few years ago, 10 years ago or something. But it's used in all caps orthography, or if you were going like, all small caps, you'd probably want it as well. Let's boost this serif so it lines up to what we want for our small caps. And yeah, oh, this is super thin. Let's adjust that. Does that cause a kink? Let's find out in a second. It might kink right there. No, basically not. Maybe very imperceptibly. I think it's probably maintains the angle well enough that it doesn't really kink. Cool. All right, so now we have, let's look at this again. Nope, I want the small caps. Cool. So now almost all of our small caps are looking pretty decent. This isn't yet compatible. There, now it is. And these are not good. Why? Aha, that'll do it. There were no anchors yet, so it's just totally guessing. Nice. Okay, that fixes that. And then the rest of them, I think I did successfully. Nope, not quite. I could swear I added anchors here, though. What? Did they somehow get deleted? Really hope not. I totally did these. What the fuck? That is concerning. Yeah, I just don't even know. I wish basic Latin. There's probably a way to do this. I wish basic. Well, okay. Here's the simple way to do it. I'll just slap on the caps to small caps. Okay, what the I'm gonna have to go back, but I swear, did I? Oh, duh. I see. I put him into. That's kind of funny. Wow. If you were watching this closely, you probably thought it was funny that I did that. Basically, I haven't yet put them into the Roman, even though the Roman is the place that I made the initial batch of glyphs. So, yeah. But what we can do is let's add them in here. Cute. And they should actually work here, except for all of the glyphs we have to. Oh, did I? Yep. So I have to bring those new glyphs over here and make them italic, but I already knew that. Yeah. All right. Well, work continues, which is a nice thing. One thing I'm confused about is why this is so off center. I wouldn't expect it to be. Maybe this is off center. Yes, it is. Good to catch that. Well, I can somewhat repeat that / bring some of those over and make them look italic. Yeah, but I'm sure I've already recorded plenty to share. So hopefully you enjoyed that. If you did, let me know, please. If you're working on something creative, a font, graphic design, whatever, hope it's going great. Thanks and take care.